Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. In the last episode, Kaito was once again pondering life after Chuo High when, rather unexpectedly, Irie decided to show up on different Pokecoms in the classroom, much to the surprise of the students there, which led Kaito to try and lure her outside, and, since Irie unexpectedly revealing herself to other people is definitely something that Kaito wanted to avoid without causing too much mass hysteria. Then later that afternoon, Kaito once again attempted to retake the flag, but Mizuka informed him that the waves weren't good, and also she cottoned on to the fact that all Kaito wanted to do was fill a very suspicious, out of character stipulations for whatever reason. And though she can hazard a guess, she's definitely chosen not to pry, at least in this instance. I don't know how long that will hold. Anyway, what's most important now is the continuation of work on Gun Build 2.
だから一から設計し直す必要はなくて、僕の知り合いの設計屋さんが大阪にいるらしいんだけど、そこに発注して。
Reusing old material certainly, and being able to optimize it for this is always a plus.
昨日一気に10機分も届いたんだから。
10, that's quite a lot.
でね、蒲田のおっちゃんとかにも協力してもらって、この島の町工場総動員って感じなんだよ。
So with Fujita's help, we were able to utilize the other engineers on Tanegashima after all. That would have taken some convincing, but Fujita knows a thing or two. I'm currently playing Kill Balance. We don't have to worry about Takasob ever again. But I'm also giving Akiho's progress reports a few empty nods. We've been acting separately recently. No longer in sync. Even for club stuff, so I haven't spent much time with her as of late. A few months ago this would be unheard of, considering the fact that she has her own attacks to deal with. But we have been stopping by Uchugaoka Park after school together pretty regularly. As for why, the monopoles, of course, they just keep coming and they don't stop coming. Got 'em. While listening to Akiho talk, my hands continue to play KB. Multitasking. And Gun Barrel with his, his winning victory. I've been on a winning streak against players around rank 200. I haven't been able to play much recently, but my senses haven't dulled. Clearly not.
ねえ、カイ。万博始まったらどうする？
That is actually a very good question there, Akiho. What I'm gonna do is check the Twitter notifications. I wanna eat ham. Just Akiho wants to eat ham. few things from Frau. I've gone to Commonwealth a few times, but unless you possess brute strength, going through general admissions is impossible. You'll see hell if you were trying to go as a guest. I wouldn't be surprised if someone died. But sometimes you want to go to that hell. Such a mystery. Yeah. Kamimo is definitely something else. It's not a playground, it's a battlefield. Way too many people. In summer you have to wait in line for hours under the blazing sun. I've waited for 4 hours straight before. One time, even though a guy was in front of me was basically shitting himself, I had to deal with the smell just to stay in line. Yeah, bit too overboard there, Frau, even for you. Huh. So people just complain, people just power through it and no one complains. The dedication to Kamimo is definitely next level. Today it's Okinawan donuts arrived in the mail. It's for Christmas. Well, enjoy those donuts, Juna. And Sister Centipede is still on the fritz, repeating lolicon in all caps. All over again, yeah. Cut it out. Respect your master. Yeah, that's, could have gone better. Is that something like a donut hole? No, Frau, isn't it? Well, no more. Even Frau is starting to get freaked out by, Irie's antics, and that's saying something. That's definitely saying a lot. Hello from Space Candy. Pokecoms have been acting up recently. More than half of the employees have experienced something. Is it due to the solar storm? Glad to see your concern there, Sumio. Now the news, or the internet news. The annual cancelled Christmas March will be at Shibuya again this year. Last year, 5,000 people participated. Going little by little, LOL. It's been going on for 10 years. Pretty amazing. They should put that energy toward finding a lover. Disgusting. Unattractive losers, LOL. Doing a march, LOL. Have your mother buy you a Christmas cake, LOL. Will I ever get together with in Roppongi tonight, LOL. At least they're motivated, unlike you people. I digress. I'm a woman, but planning to participate. What is the ratio at the march? If there are a lot of girls, maybe I'll go too. We don't want people that are looking for someone to come. This is sacred war to us. Don't corrupt with this sacred fight. To be honest, I'm actually quite fond of Christmas, really as a celebratory holiday and everything, and also the fact that you get to spend at least 3 or 4 days on holiday. But everyone knows that Christmas is all about the presents. Happiness for you running a maintenance on Christmas Eve is God. They're on our side, do more. Japanese people should be shamed for joking that it's Xmas Eve. Why do I have to be bashful for spending a beautiful night with my loved one? Hate only creates more hate. Let's be generous. Spend it with your loved ones and family. If you spend it together, we can all be happy. Christmas should be cancelled because it's imprudent. They have imprudent choose. Yeah, this is getting out of hand. Oh look! Speaking of getting out of hand, surprise surprise, Nightheart's online. Planning to stay inside and play Older Rojo on Christmas Eve. Christmas will be the usual, marathoning Blood Tune from morning to night. 24 hours, eh? Looks like there are protests to cancel Christmas, but wouldn't that just mean marching up down the lit up streets while normie couples laugh at you or something? What kind of torture is that? Yeah, LMAO. People who are part of the protests must be insane masochists or unpopular normies looking for attention. I will never participate. Never. Rather than being part of the protest, isn't it more romantic to spend it with cute 2D girls inside a warm, cozy house? There's no need to go outside. That's right, us unpopular souls have 2D and 2D will never betray us. Last I checked, you didn't have a house. And lo and behold, our other new contact in the world of Twippo, the super hacker Dash. Lightning fast Nightheart she is going to stay in and play a Roje. That's why we love him, that's why we admire him. Nightheart doesn't change at all. I want him to stay the way he is. Sure you do, Dash. Also, yeah, I don't follow Nightheart. I mean, I read his tweets, but I don't follow him. I used to spend Christmas Eve like that until around 3 years ago. For the last couple of years I've spent Christmas with my family. I won't be hurt by the words probably spent with your parents or anything like that. I savor virgins being envious of me. LOA, L, GG, no Ray. After all, the family I'm talking about is my wife and daughter, LOL. I'm a normie, LOL. I received some devastating news. How could this be? Dash, have you betrayed us? I won't let you get away with this. Looks like another internet war is about to spring onto Twippo. The envy of man is truly unseemly. Well, my wife is an ex-cosplayer and she accepts my Rojo hobby. My 2-year-old daughter takes after me so she's ultra cute. I give her a bath every day. I really am a father now. Men truly grow stronger when they have a family. We grow mentally too. Just a hunch, but that wife and daughters of yours are probably imaginary existences. Wishful thinking, Nightheart. Wishful thinking. Oh, Nightheart she, when did we fall apart so? Was it pride? Or perhaps our difference in circumstances? Difference in circumstances indeed. In more ways than one. But enough of that. Back to Akiho. Akiho asks while gazing at the TNSC rocket launch complex far in the distance.
どうって？
だってほら、万博の期間って半年ぐらいあるんよ。
I know, 6 months, which is quite a long time for an expo.
2月から始まって8月末まで。
Very long time for an expo.
ガンツク2は会に操縦してもらうわけだけど、デモンストレーションを毎日やろうと思ったら。
A demonstration every day for 6 months. That's really something.
会には毎日会場に足を運んでもらわなくちゃいけないわけで、うちら卒業式にも出られないよ。
Yeah, she raises a point.
それに8月までってことはね、次の年に向けての受験勉強だってろくにできないよ。
Yeah, all your work will be spent on Gunbuild 2 and the Expo.
ああ、そうだね。
順にサブオペやってもらうにしても、あの子就職決まってるから4月以降はいなくなっちゃうでしょ。
Yeah, Sumio snapped her up pretty quickly.
スバルとフラウボーは学校あるし。
Yeah, they'll still be stuck at Chura High, at least for another year.
そうなると4月以降はうちと会しか参加できる人がいないってことになっちゃう。
In other words, from April forward, it's just going to be Kaito and Akiho again. The original duo of the Robotics Club.
もちろんね、東京に住んでる OB や OG の人たちにも当たってみるつもりだけど。
Well, if Gunbuild 2 goes off without a hitch, maybe the Robotics Club's reputation will finally start lifting.
毎日会場に来られる人なんてきっと誰もいないと思うんだ。
Well, that's true. It takes a lot of dedication to be able to do that. Akiho then sighs and covers her eyes. It's like she's realized how much effort actually is going to go into this. Once again, Akiho, you've changed a lot, but definitely for the better.
でね、この際だからお姉ちゃんの家に押しかけて同居しようかなって思ってるんだけど。
So that's what this is about. She's still wanting to interact with her sister, Mizaki. At another time, such a thing might have been possible.
それどう思う？
But as the way things stand right now,
毎日万博会場まで30分くらいで通えるんだよ。ホテル代だって取られないし。お姉ちゃんと一緒ならお父さんもお母さんも文句言わないだろうし。そうだ、カイも一緒においでよ。カイならお姉ちゃんもダメだなんて絶対言わないだろうし。
I would say, yeah. Akiho's basically talking to herself at this point. That last one, I wouldn't be so sure, Akiho. Living with the Sonomiya sisters, eh? I heard that Mizune has a pretty nice place, and since there'd be no cost for us, it's a pretty attractive idea. But more important than that is how painful it is to watch Akiho right now.
アキちゃん必死すぎ。まるでさ、ミサ姉に必死でご機嫌伺いしてるみたいだ。
And yet you can't entirely blame her.
そんなことは。
そもそもミサ姉にはちゃんとその話通ってるわけ？
メールはしたよ。
電話では話してない？
それはこれから。
Akiho avoids making eye contact with me. It's like she knows that Misaki will never answer her calls.
相変わらず連絡取れないんだね。
Indeed.
忙しいだろうし、今東京は大変だから。
She's been making the same excuse for over 6 years. I hate to break it to you, Akiho. Misaki has been deliberately avoiding you, avoiding any contact with you whatsoever. The two of them haven't spoken in over 6 damn years. And Akiho loves the hell out of her big sister, so the problem is on Mizune's end.
全部読んでいるわよ。秋のメールもね。
Why would Mizune talk to her own sister? I've never really thought too hard about it until now. Probably should have. Has Mizune gotten herself involved with something shady? Something so shady that it would cause the exoskeleton company to be listed under investigation in one of the Kimijima reports? There, Kaito? Exoskeleton company already smells fishy. And according to Frau's intel, her boss is connected to the Tavistock Institute. That he is. But I can't bring myself to reveal any of these concerns to Akiho. As of right now, they're just my own delusions. They're more than that. I don't want to unnecessarily worry Akiho, only when it's necessary. At the very least, until I get my hands on some definitive info, I intend on keeping this to myself. Oblivious to my thoughts, Akiho suddenly leans over the observatory's fence. She points at the sky.
落ちてきたよ。
Another one, huh? With the twilight winter sky as its backdrop, a small black stain slowly falls to the ground.
今日4個目。
Another monopole. We've already found 3 monopoles just from doing a loop around the park. These things just keep falling, though not all at once, which we should probably count our blessings as a good thing. I guess the antenna on top of the tower is still functioning.
雪ですよ。雪やここ、雪やこ。
You must really like that song, Let It Snow there, Irie. Irie is unusually excited.
やっぱり冬ですもんね。雪も降りますよね。
Maybe, there's always a chance.
アイリ、何言ってるの？雪なんてちっとも降ってないけど。もっと降ってほしいですね。できれば積もるくらいがいいです。アキホは雪を見たことがないんですか？遅れちゃってますね。
Cheery as that sounds, yeah, you still have issues, Irie. Irie then grins and whips out her trusty glasses. Oh look, that person's here.
アイリー、うちのことを誰だと思っているのだ？もちろん雪くらい見たことあるよ。ていうか、 屋久島に行けばすぐ見られるしね。
この辺りで一番手っ取り早く雪を見る方法はですね、なんと隣の屋久島に行くことなんですよ。
I reproving Akiho correct there?
うん、だからそう言ったけど。まずいよカイ。もうすぐモノポールが墜落する。急いで回収に行かないと落ちた場所がわからなくなっちゃう。
Yeah, we should probably do that. Akiho cuts off her conversation with Irie, picks up the bug net sitting on the nearby bench, and races off.
そんなに走ると発作が出ちゃうよ。
We usually leave the bug net on the second floor of the old community center building. A monopole fresh out of the sky will zap you if you touch it barehanded, so we use the net. It's a little life hack. Insulation. You gotta love it. As I watch Akiho dash with net in hand,
昭和のわんぱく坊主だね、まるで。
why would you think that, Kaito? I can't help myself. The mood doesn't last long. I'm in no rush to chase after her. Instead, I stay put and raise my pokergom up to my face. Irie is looking up at the sky, looking for that non-existent snow. She has a welcoming smile on her face.
何がそんなに嬉しいわけ？
お兄ちゃん、雪が。
Irie, perhaps.
降ってないって。
Irie's expression goes blank as she turns toward me. And after tilting her head sideways,
明日、鹿児島県種子島、屋久島地方のお天気は曇りでしょう。降水確率は 30%、最高気温15度、最低気温。
why the weather forecast? Is she seeing things? No. She's still trying to anticipate the snow, Kaito. Even though she's an AI. That's crazy. There are still things we don't yet fully understand about Irie. But I think that things will change once we do. I really do. And back at the general store with Mizuka. I park the car in front of the rear parking lot and walk back around to the front. The cool thing about the HUG is that cars don't have to be modified. I can drive like any non-handicapped person. Yeah, well, it's not like you're being strapped to a wheelchair. Though I'm usually stuck watching the store, so I don't get to drive much. Tough breaks. In all honesty, I sometimes forget that my legs are disabled thanks to the HUG. But because this thing has become a part of my body, I can immediately notice subtle discomforts. This is probably because I use it on a daily basis. Even an HUG engineer wouldn't know the difference, even though they're the ones who are technically allowed to modify the device. There's a slight grinding feeling when I walk, as if a small amount of sand got stuck in the gears. I've been feeling this since the day before yesterday, and once I noticed it, it became impossible to ignore. It could be the HUG, or it could be Yeah, a reminder of the fact that you're injured. I've been going to the beach once every 2 days, so I'm betting that's the cause. I probably shouldn't hang around the beach too often. I look up at the sky, pretending to glare at a god I don't even believe in. The sun is hidden by a layer of dark clouds. I reason with the reporters right on the money.
Yo,
Oh, and look who it is. Mitchie, dressed, like an actual teacher for a change, for the first time. It doesn't help at all, does it?
なんだ、ミッチーじゃないか。
No, it definitely doesn't help, doesn't.
今日は
Yeah.
学校休みじゃないのかい？
教師ってのは何かと忙しくてな。今日も京都で休日出勤さ。これ豆知識な。
Alas, poor Mitchie.
あとついでにイレをクリスマスパーティーに誘いに。
For old time's sake, maybe? I can't help but scoff at his choice of words.
何がクリスマスパーティーだよ。単なる飲みの誘いだろ。
And he's just gonna get drunk.
そうとも言うな。ははは。
母さん、戻ったよ。
Mother was watching the place while I was gone, so I let her know I'm home. She says she hasn't had lunch yet, so I immediately take over and send her to the back of the store. I want to prevent her from coming into contact with Mitchie as much as possible. Good call there. Good call. She's been trying to hook me and him up since the dawn of time. What's she thinking? I sit on my usual seat and take a small breather. 2 cans of coffee appear next to the register. Ah, coffee.
一本はイレに。
ありがとう。気が利くじゃないか。ミッチーの分際で。
After receiving payment for the drinks, I opened the can he bought me. The warm, sweet coffee seeps into my body.
で、クリスマスに飲み？またいつものメンツかい？
ああ、今回は5人くらいじゃねえか。
5? That's quite a crowd. Ever since Mitchie and I came back to the island, we periodically get together with our old high school pals. Reunions, huh? They're never huge gatherings, since there's only about 10 of us still live here.
あんたも寂しいね。一緒に過ごす女の子とかいないわけ？
その言葉、そっくり返すぜ。
言うようになったじゃないか。
I shoot him a fierce glare, and he smiles and breaks eye contact.
お、怖っ。
I chug the rest of the coffee. This place is empty even during lunch. But that's how it always is.
で、ヤジオはどうだ？
Out of character topic there for you, Mitchie.
おお、あんた少しは教師らしくなったんだね。生徒の心配するなんて。
顧問ってのもあるし、教頭から普段の生活態度を見とけって言われてるんだよね。あ、これ内緒な。
Is it now? I lower my shoulders and send him a sign of acknowledgement. People really tend to spill the beans during casual conversations like this, especially Mitchie. Probably because I'm just a simple girl running a simple little store.
学校じゃ問題児だよ。ヤシオと瀬宮妹は。この時期に進路が決まってねえのはあの二人だけだ。
Well, in a way, in a manner of speaking, Akiho's career has already been decided. As for Kaito, that's a different story.
ロボ部が忙しいんだろ。わからないのはカイだ。なんだってこんな時にいきなりサーフィンやりたいなんて言ってきたんだか。
Are you sure you really want to know the answer to that question, Mizuka?
あんた、何か知ってる？
知るわけねって。むしろ俺が聞きたいぐらいだ。
And Mitchie is clueless as ever, which is a good thing in my book. This time, what a useless man. And yet he still calls himself their advisor, out of respect and deference to Misaki. Speaking of which, that's the one elephant in the room that you two keep dancing around, isn't it?
イレは理由も聞かずに教えてんのか。
Pretty much.
正直なところ、なんか嫌な予感がするからさ。私もあまり教えたくはないのさ。
Be that as it may, Mizuka, Kaito needs to surf for 3 seconds on that wave. Sticking my nose into someone else's trouble will come back to bite me in the ass. Plus, when I'm with Kai nowadays, I sense that girl's presence makes me uncomfortable. Still some bad blood between Mizuka and Irie.
その割には熱心に指導してるみたいじゃねえの。また情熱が戻ってきたが、俺は結構嬉しかったんだぜ。
Now is not the time, Mitchie.
事故以来、お前はサーフィンから離れちまったからよ。また海に通うようになるなんて全く予想してなかった。
Although that being said, this is probably the first normal conversation that Mitchie has had in a long while.
別に大してこだわりはないよ。
During college, I got into a motorcycle accident. My legs have been busted ever since. That's all there is to it. End of story. I can't surf with these legs, so I naturally distance myself from the ocean, as well as avoiding trying to get grit into the HUG. I mean, yeah, at first I was so depressed that I wanted to die, but with time I came to accept what happened.
ま、カイのおかげで自分の高校時代を思い出したのは確かだけどね。
Indeed, a momentary joy of her days in the surfing club.
毎日のように海に通ってたあの頃の自分の若さってのをさ。
It's not like I find any of that nostalgic. Surfing was fun, but it was just a hobby of mine. For other reasons, I decided to close the lid on those memories and pretend they never happened. Reasons that probably have very little to do with your motorcycle accident. And yet that girl keeps appearing in front of me.
あんたさっき熱心に指導してるって言ったろ。そう見えるならそれはただの買いかぶりだよ。私はただイラついてるのさ。
It's as if she sees right through me. It's like she's telling me that I'm trying to run. Sorry. Little too fast there. It's like she's trying to tell me I'm trying to run away from being the bad guy by pretending I saw nothing. There we go. I was going to put a lid on all this and carry it to my grave without ever telling anyone what happened. 9 years ago, on the final night of the summer, the night when the H-2A rocket launched. Whenever I see that girl, I can't help but remember. it's not like I was deeply involved in any of the accidents on that day. Accidents. The most exciting thing about that day on the island was the rocket launch. It was an event us islanders enjoyed once every 6 months, like a ritual. It was held at night that day, oddly. The previous year there was a launch that occurred at 2 a.m., but not too many saw it because of how late it was. So an evening launch was a first for a lot of us. I was a high school first year. My friends and I, Mitchie included, went to go see it at Uchugaoka Park. I recall being fascinated by the rocket's beam of light cutting through the night sky, but at the same time, that was when the MF anemone incident occurred. Of course, I had no idea at the time, and we still know very little about that bizarre phenomenon that happened. The phenomenon that would forever alter the lives of Kaito, Yashio, and Akiho Tsunomiya. I found out about the incident after coming home from watching the rocket launch. I'd heard from my friend Misa that Aki and Kai, who were both visiting Kagoshima for a field trip, were on board. I knew Aki and Kai through Misa. Concerned, I tried to contact her, but it went right into her inbox. Ominous. With no other choice, I headed to Nishino Omote Harbor on my own. By the time I arrived, the harbor was filled with people and noise. Panic. The ship had already docked, and the passengers who were involved were reuniting with their families in relief. All of the passengers, including the kids, looked emaciated, but they could walk on their own and seemed stable. But no matter how much I looked, I couldn't find Kai or Aki. I didn't see Misa or their families either. After wandering around for a while, the police and medical crew that were standing by suddenly started to panic. I had a bad feeling about all this. After waiting for a bit, I saw Kai and Aki get carried away on stretchers. They were unconscious. They were the only two passengers who didn't wake up that day, and nobody knew why. A part of me was considering the possibility that there might be others besides Kaito and Akiho who have the phenomenon conditions that they have, but no, it's just those two, and only those two. Kaito with a slow-mo, and Akiho with a fast-forward. I was so shocked that I couldn't even call out to them. All I could do was watch from afar. Right as they were being loaded onto the ambulance, Misa arrived on her scooter. Misa was usually calm and collected, but she was freaking out. She clung to the pair, calling out their names.
アキ、カイ、ごめんね。ごめん。
Misa just kept apologizing to them over and over again. For some reason, she chose not to ride with them in the ambulance. She just watched as the ambulance drove off. I approached her, wanting to try and comfort her as best I could. And that's when I realized something dreadful had happened to Misa. I still remember seeing her there to this day. It was as if she'd just ran through the woods. She was covered in dirt. The hem of her skirt was torn. But above all else, her clothes. Her clothes were covered in dark red stains. So what happened? They looked like blood. It was then that I made eye contact with her. And Misa, after gazing at me desperately, Misa collapsed on the spot without saying a word. It was the first and last time I ever saw Misa looking so weak. And so I promised myself that I'd never do something as insensitive as ask her what happened that night. I put all those questions in a box, sealed it up, and decided never to open it. I just held Misa tightly in my arms. And because I never asked about it, Misa never talked about it. Naturally. She continued to cry, keeping her voice down. It was a week later when I heard that the body of Ko Kimijima had been found. He had been murdered. About 9 years have passed since then. I've always been afraid of that girl. The AI personality that Ko Kimijima created. An unknown existence that can talk just like any human. She must have been watching. I don't care what happened, even though you should. I've sealed it all away, and yet I have a feeling that Kaito Yashio is going to open that box right up in the search for answers and understanding. It'd be easy to put it all together, but I didn't care what the truth was, for better or for worse. You're just a spectator, observing from the sidelines, Mizuka Ire. I decided to stick by Misa's side, but I'm scared that girl, Irie, might one day tell someone what she saw. Well, if indeed she saw anything. I never planned on ever seeing that girl again, and it'd be great if she vanished. That would be the best outcome. But is that really true? But when I think about how she's been hanging around Kai, I can't see her with my naked eyes, but I can feel her roaming around with him, judging me. And you don't really understand Irie at all, do you? I can't hear her voice directly. But when I hear Kai and her talking from afar, I get so scared it makes me want to scream. That's why it pisses me off. But according to Kai, I just have to wait around Christmas Eve. On that day, the ghost of my past might finally vanish. Which would be actually bad news bears for Kaito. And then I'll never have to suffer a penetrating gaze ever again. Poor Mizuka. Really little else to say. Then again, Ivy's never said anything to Kaito, not even once. December 22nd, another day, another attempt at getting this cursed flag. So when we return, adventurers, maybe Kaito will finally nail it once and for all, and then we can start looking for report number 6. Possibly. As always, until next we meet.